Great. So that works.
Yeah. You talked about the brand of WWE just transcends generations. You could say Orlando's the same way with Disney.
That's right.
How do you think you guys are going to be able to work together, to build, the audience to basically build your growth together?
Well, Orlando has in essence become a second home for WWE because here is where our performance center is located, our partnership with Full Sail University, where our fans ultimately are able to decide who's going to be the next superstar diva to make it to the main roster, because our fans really are such a part of our show. And it is multi-generational. It is families that are consuming our content and coming to our live events, just like Disney, just like all of the different destinations that are here in Orlando. I think Orlando is one of the top family entertainment destinations in the world, and WWE and WrestleMania will be a perfect fit.
Stephanie, John talked a little bit about the feeling of being in the ring for an event that big and also being outside the ring. You've experienced both. I mean, what does it mean to you the last couple of years to be an in-ring performer for something like this?
It's truly an honor to be an in-ring performer at WrestleMania. It's something that anybody who's ever dreamt of being a superstar or diva, that is the pinnacle of achievement, is to actually compete or be a part of WrestleMania. I've never wrestled in a match at WrestleMania, so put it on my bucket list. I do know what it's like to sit there, but I have to say my perspective is so unique, because when I walk into that empty stadium every single year, I'm overwhelmed and flooded with emotion, whether it's thinking about my grandfather and what he would have said about what my father created. My grandfather always said to my dad, "Don't rock the boat, Vinny. Why are you trying to grow this brand? Let's just keep it in the Northeast. Like, what are you doing?" And to consider the global phenomenon that WWE has become because of my father and because of his vision. And then I think about my husband, who's performing in one of the main events, and this year my brother, who's also performing in one of the main events. I am overwhelmed with emotion of pride and honor and family.
You talked about the success of WWE and WrestleMania being World Cup level, being Olympics level.
That's right. According to Forbes.
But what do you think it is? What do you think is the key factor in WWE that makes it such a successful entity, a successful business?
I think from a business standpoint, we have an incredible team of executives. We have an incredible visionary, a creative visionary that is setting the way and leading the path. When OTT, we were one of the first production companies, certainly, to go direct to consumer, and now everyone's really following suit. We're offering WrestleMania for the first time ever. If you're a new subscriber, it's free. That is a huge change and shift in business model, and no different really than Netflix or any other streaming service that offers the first 30 days free. But for WrestleMania to be free for new subscribers is, it really is a pivotal moment in our time. From a fan perspective, clearly it's because of the relatability of our stories and the connections that I think people make to the different superstars and divas and their personalities, and the way we engage them along the way.
Stephanie, what's it like having Shane back, being involved again with the company?
It's a lot of fun. My brother brings a whole new level of energy. Like, have you seen how much energy he has? I grew up with that, by the way. I was his little brother. I was on the receiving end of a lot of that, energy and excitement, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I missed him. I'm very happy to have him back.
And lastly, for me, John Sabor, what has he meant bringing WrestleMania, all over, but even back to Orlando?
Well, Shawn Michaels is known as Mr. WrestleMania in the ring, and I think John Sabor is known as Mr. WrestleMania on the corporate side. And, John Sabor was on the host committee when WrestleMania was here in Orlando for WrestleMania 24. We stole him away because he did such a phenomenal job, and now here it's come full circle. And yes, John Sabor is very key in bringing WrestleMania 33 back to Orlando. Thank you, folks. That's it. Thank you.
I feel great, actually. Yeah, I feel really good. Thank you for asking.
Hey, so I know when you were up there, you were talking about how it's kind of hard to describe what WrestleMania feels like.
Yes.
How would you? In your best way, how do you? When you enter a city for WrestleMania, how did you see it kind of change the city you were in?
I've had the luxury of doing these press conferences, and we always do them like a year plus out. So I always have the same ritual before you guys filed in. I go and walk into an empty Citrus Bowl, and I look around, and I always say the same thing. this is a big effing place. And I wonder what it will look like. And then when we begin to roll in with our production, about 6 days out of WrestleMania, and begin to build, I really always stay close to the facility. And day by day, I check up on the construction, the fantasy. And by Sunday, we walk into that empty stadium, and before the people are even there, it just there's magic. There's something in the air, and it is the need to be their place. And then when a sea of humanity pours in, and not a subdued one, I mean a very emotional group of people who have been fired up all week, they come in and they let loose. It's literally the best. It's the best, and it's tough for me to say what it's like to be in that ring, because you have to be in the ring. But we're just as excited in there as everybody is on the other side of America.
For someone who was never much into wrestling, like what would be the appeal? Like what would be the easiest way to get
Come be
into it
entertained.
now?
For someone who's not into WWE, chances are they are into some form of entertainment. Something makes them laugh, something makes them cry, something makes them angry, something makes them overjoyed. We do it all.
That's what I was getting from up there.
We do it all, and we do it in a family-friendly environment. You can be any age, any race, sex, doesn't matter. You come, be entertained, and that's what we offer. I think we do it better than anybody else.
I was going to
John,
ask
you
you, what
talked
is the
about-
unique combination of things that make wrestling so popular?
Stephanie McMahon definitely hit on it. It is the art of storytelling. We provide that medium in which to pit good versus evil. That is a struggle that has been around since the sun first came up. And like I said, I think we do it better than anybody else. We get that ambiance that lets people just lose themselves. And once you have that, once you can suspend disbelief in that sort of way, it becomes really fun, because people as a mass become excited, people as a mass become entertained. A lot of the movies will do this, sitcoms will do this, but they don't have 75,000 people cheering them on. And that's what a well-done blend of sport and entertainment does, and WrestleMania does that better than anybody else.
Why are you excited about coming here?
One, I live in Tampa, so it's extremely close. Two, I love the city. It's been a previous host of WrestleMania, and it's one of our most successful events. Three, in a city that is defined by entertainment attraction, I like to want to be able to come in here, set up what we do what we do, I think standards are better than anyone else. And after WrestleMania 33, everybody's going to be like, man, that was an incredible experience. I can't wait until they come back.
John, what was with your injury that you talked about and all? When did it come to realization? You were maybe trying to come back now, but you couldn't. And how far along are you to getting back?
When I woke up from anesthesia and the doctor said we had to pretty much give your shoulder an entire tune-up, and you're going to be out for 6 to 9 months.
John, how impressed are you by the improvements to Citrus Bowl, from what you saw 8 years ago?
I think it's fantastic. It shows, obviously, Orlando's dedication to wanting to continue to bring events here. It shows the support of the team that's here consistently. It gives us a great venue to perform in. We were here a while ago, albeit a little bit challenging of an environment. It still ended up being a great show. I think the fact that the stadium is much better now, the Orlando Citrus Bowl, will be a fantastic backdrop for WrestleMania.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Here at the Citrus Bowl in the Varsity Club, the big announcement, WrestleMania 33, coming to Orlando, April 2nd, 2017, and right now I have Garry Jones, the president, Mr. Garry Jones, the president of Full Sail University, which has a great working relationship with WWE. The NXT brand does shows there, they tape shows there, every once in a while do a takeover, live special there at Full Sail. The interesting part of that too is students at Full Sail University actually work with WWE staff. Some have even gone on to get jobs with WWE, and several of the students have received scholarships from WWE as well. It's a good working relationship. You spoke at the press conference. What does it mean to you to have WWE here, and what are the chances too of Full Sail students being involved in some capacity with WrestleMania week? Because there's many activities during that time.
What I've learned about WrestleMania is that it's not just the day of. One of the things we heard at the press conference today, it's not just the day of the big event. It's a week of incredible activities where all the superstars, the talent of the WWE, are in town doing benevolent things and doing great things with and for our community on any number of levels. Education, Make-A-Wish Foundation, great things that they'll do. Reading with kids, anti-bullying campaigns, a lot of good work they're going to do here in Central Florida with and for all of us, the residents here. Also, leading up to that week, there's a lot of things that'll be coming into play that we don't yet know, but there's quite an amazing plan of events and concerts and things leading up to the day of WrestleMania that'll be great for our community. And I have a feeling, I have an educated guess, that we'll have a lot of our Full Sail students and maybe quite a number of graduates working on a lot of those things, those productions, those events, the social media campaigns, everything leading up to and continuing through WrestleMania 33.
Garry, what has it meant, the working relationship that you all have had with Full Sail University? John Sabor, WWE, was really one of the key members, instrumental too, with just getting WrestleMania going and where it's going to land, and what he's done with the partnership with you all, Triple H, Paul Levesque, and just the whole WWE family. What has it meant to you to work with them and just the type of togetherness or unity it's been between the two companies?
You know, back in 2011, what started as just an exploration of what kind of synergy might our two organizations find together, Full Sail University and WWE. What started there has turned into, as you know, the regular, about every 3 weeks, the NXT series is performed on our campus and video recorded for broadcast later. What has evolved out of this nucleus of our relationship is now spanning into a lot of different things. Every time there is NXT matches on our campus, more than 30 current students get real-world hands-on experience working with the professionals at WWE. An anecdotal story on that note is I was talking to one student one day standing outside the broadcast truck outside, and I said hello to him. And I said, "What are you doing tonight?" And he said, "Oh, I'm technical directing." I said, "No, are you shadowing the technical director? Is that what you mean?" He says, "No, I'm the technical director tonight. I started 20 shows ago, 20 NXT dates ago, pulling carpet. Today, I'm technical directing." And that's the kind of opportunity that they provide for our current students. They've hired somewhere north of 28 full-time employees from Full Sail, people that they got a chance to work with, know about, and understand their talent and their work ethic. There have been, I don't know how many internships, I'd say 100 or hundreds of internships, $250,000 in scholarships handed out by Paul Levesque, Triple H himself, to students who'll go into classrooms, pull out students that have worked, volunteered and worked with and for the WWE on the NXT series, and present them with a big check to help them with the expenses of their education. $250,000 spread across a number of students. So these are just historically things we've done so far. What we'll do with and for them side by side in the upcoming WrestleMania events, the day of and everything leading up to it, I don't even know what it'll be yet, but it's going to be exciting.
And Mr. Garry Jones, I have to say too, WWE has worked with the Full Sail students, and like you've said too, they've been able to work their internships, jobs. It's an amazing time at Full Sail. If somebody wants to be involved with WWE, they don't have to be a superstar or diva. If they want to work in another capacity, one way to maybe go about that is to go to Full Sail University.
Yeah, with WWE calling Orlando, secondarily Full Sail, their second home. It's a great opportunity to be around the talent, the production professionals, and for our students to have side-by-side opportunities that, as we've seen, again historically, grow into many other things, whether it's jobs, internships, or just simply great real-world experiences.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, my brother. Great to be with you today.
Flair. Start right here.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So how the fact that you guys have this legacy going, are you proud? How proud are you of your daughter?
Can't put in words.
Did you think she would go down this route? Is this the route you wanted her to take?
I never anticipated this, but the minute she started, it's like she'd been involved her whole life. She was a multi-talented athlete and competed in Division I volleyball in college, was an All-American cheerleader, level 9 gymnast. And she graduated with a degree and was personal training and just about to open up her own business when we went to Miami in 2012. The head of talent relations at that time looked at her and said, "Why aren't you wrestling?" And about an hour later, she walked over and said, "Dad, I think I can do this." I said, "Yeah, but I'm not sure why you want to," because for all the glory and everything, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of travel. But here she is, less than 4 years later, the champion and on top of the world, and setting the bar higher than it's ever been set, I think, for women. So that's how proud I am. I can keep going if you want me to. I can elaborate.
Well, I was going to ask you, for someone who's so beautiful, how can you be so tough?
Oh, thank you. I've never been asked that before. I take pride in my athletic ability, and it's one of the most important things that I hope I represent, strong female athletes while being Divas Champion and representing the women's division.
Can you give us some of that toughness right now?
Do you want to arm wrestle?
Here.
No, I do not want to arm wrestle.
Do 50 push-ups.
How do you growl? What do you do?
I don't know. It's weird. When I walk through that curtain, I'm not this person. I'm the genetically superior Charlotte, and it just hits. And I don't know. It's something that you just can't explain.
She's very modest too. You can tell.
No, I don't know. It's just when you walk through, you have to prepare yourself to. You have millions of people watching you, and I just turned into that character. But it takes a lot of hard work and practice, and I work out probably 50 times a day.
Charlotte, with working with your dad, watching him when you were growing up, and now working with him, what has that whole experience been like?
You know, everyone asks me, do you ask your dad for feedback? I really don't. Just because, one, he is my dad, and two, I think he's a little biased. No, but it's great. What people don't realize is it's awesome sharing the stage with my dad, but it's also, I'm not only dad, at work he's Ric Flair. So I'm sharing the stage with Ric Flair. And I think to any superstar, male or female, to say that they have the opportunity to be on stage with him, they would be nervous, or he steals the show every night. So that's how I feel every night walking out, that I have Ric Flair beside me. And I don't want the fans to ever see a moment of, I guess, weakness or doubt, or to know, because he knows he spent 40 years creating the Nature Boy, and I've only done this for 3.5 years. So I look at it more as a challenge, and it makes me that much better every week.
Rick, Charlotte basically said it. WWE WrestleMania, the Nature Boy is all very impactful brands. What is it that you learned over your career on how deep a brand can go, and how good it can be, to reach an audience?
Well, that's a great question, because you have to have been doing this as long as I do, as long as I have been, or being involved as long as I have been, to understand a brand when it starts to be built. And now, after 4 years, people say, well, why does everybody know you? Well, I've been on TV for 40 years. Out of sight, out of mind, and here every time I'm gone for 6 months, I'm back on for 6 months. And, it's a great feeling, but the brand is, she is not an extension of the brand. She's making the brand bigger. Does that make sense? I have my brand, she has hers, but she's a far superior athlete, and she can do things I could never do. She is incredibly hungry every day to get better, and she wants to have, she knows things right now and can do things that she should have been in the business 10 years to understand and apply here. It's not just physical skill, but applying it here. and that's what makes her not only physically superior, but she's real smart and applies. I mean, she studies while she's working out in the morning. She's looking at a match of two opponents. Well, no, it means a lot. That's how a lot of people do it. You have to look at the past, look at the future, and compare, and then find that perfect mode for you. Because if you're not comfortable in who you're trying to be, you can't be the person. It's hard to sell to people today. If you're not comfortable within your own skin, walking out that door, if you're trying to be somebody you're not, it's not hard to sell. So she's
For both of you, what does Orlando mean? Obviously, you came up from Full Sail very quickly. Obviously, you've had huge moments all over Florida, but especially here. You talked a little bit about it on stage, but what does Orlando mean?
What was the most special weekend of my life? I mean, if you take the Hall of Fame induction, having my family there, then WrestleMania, and then of course the surprise aftermath at Raw, which where they invited friends and family from, or friends and opponents from all over the country. They flew them in for that last moment on Raw. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The next day, I got on a cruise. I flew to St. Croix, and I was lost. And I didn't know. I was so lonesome for the business, something I'd done so long. And then, sure enough, about 6 months ago, I got a text and said, "Dad, I know why you never wanted to retire. I love wrestling." She's been on the road, and it's a tough business, guys. I mean, they travel and they drive and they fly and they wrestle, and she never misses a workout. She's committed, and that's why she's successful. I mean, there's a lot of components these days because of social media that I probably wouldn't have been as successful at. I'm not sure Ric Flair would have been around in 2016. The old Ric Flair.
Thank you, everybody.
That brand is being changed.
Thank you.
When you get in the ring, this is the only personality you need right here, the Superman punch. I lock and load this sucker, I test it on the ground, and then I'm looking to knock jaws loose. And if they can get up from there, I'm going to take this big old right shoulder, I'm going to spear him in half. Cut him right in half. Open field tackle. You've seen that before, right?
Yeah, you sound so serious.
That's my character in the ring. You have to be. This is the biggest event in the world. This is the biggest live event that anyone has ever seen before. So if you don't step in that ring with that business mindset to get it done, then you're going to be laying flat on the mat.
Show us that big fist right in our camera.
You see that? Triple H, you know something? You don't know none of that, Triple H.
Roman, you talked about family.
Thank you.
What is it like for you when you were younger watching all this? And what was it like back then, and then what is it like now for you to be a part of it, big part of it?
It was a lot different, you know. It was a different time back when my father wrestled. Even my older cousins, just the vibe. Everything's a lot different now. We're a lot more, family oriented. We're a PG product, and we're a publicly traded company as well. So that's something that we've really done a good job of, is just building that reputation, that family friendly reputation, and that's what you see nowadays. Back in the day, when I was just a little guy, you didn't hear too much about the backstage. Now we have a different vibe going on. We have all different types of things, with charitable acts, disabled children. Make-A-Wish, Be a Star. We're just so much more embedded into the communities that we're visiting now. It's not just a stop and go. Now it's, we try to build those relationships because we're coming back.
You grew up in Florida. What would you say, this indicates to you about where Orlando's going? Like the economy, the environment, all that stuff. It's going to be better, right?
I think, this is just another great compliment to this great city. This is a city that is just on the grind and just pushing itself through business and family business, year round. The parks and the environment here in Orlando, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter what the weather is. It doesn't matter if there's a hurricane coming. It's it's all about creating that magic and creating that different universe for people to get lost in. So I think it's great that WWE's back and we're mixing it up again, because like John said in the press conference, it really is a perfect relationship between two different storytelling companies.
Roman, what does it mean to you? Yeah, a year or two ago, you were performing in front of 400 people at Full Sail. Now you're 70,000. I mean, what does that jump mean to you, and coming back to Orlando where you started, sort of?
well, even before Full Sail, you know, Full Sail was just such a great opportunity, and these guys at NXT and the girls NXT, they still have that great opportunity, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. As you can see, the NXT brand's taken off. We started an FCW in Tampa, a smaller warehouse, a much smaller show. So I've wrestled in front of 20 people. I've wrestled in front of 5 people. There's a time we wrestled literally in front of one guy, you know, and like you're taking requests. What, brother, what do you want to see? You know, I mean, I don't know. You want to see a body slam? All right. So that's the thing, to be able to jump from that stage to the grandest stage of them all, it completely feels godsend. It sometimes, you know, it doesn't feel real.
Thank you, everybody. I think we have. First off, they've got a great relationship with Full Sail University. That's been going on for a long time. Also, in 2013, we got to announce their Performance Center opening right here in Orlando. And then last year, I got to go to Tribute for the Troops. They do a great job, taking care of our troops. We got to do that in Jacksonville, and it was shown all over the world. But what's exciting today is the announcing that WrestleMania 33 is going to be right here in Orlando at their Citrus Bowl on the 2nd of April, Sunday, in 2017. It'll be an unbelievable event right here in the great state of Florida, right here in Orlando. So I'm going to answer any questions that anybody has.
What do you think it means to the state of Florida to bring events like this, not only once but twice?
It's exciting. WWE is a great brand. It's a family-oriented brand. I have grandsons, so I'm sure soon they're going to want to go to a WWE event around the state of Florida. But they do a wonderful job. Last year we had 105 million tourists in the state. This year we'll have 150 million tourists in the state. And part of it is WWE and a lot of other that want to all come here because they know we are such a tourist attraction and a family-friendly attraction.
Are you a big fan?
Oh, absolutely. I remember growing up. I grew up in the Midwest watching wrestling. I never got to go to it as a kid, but I was from Iowa. It was fun to watch, all the antics of people in the audience.
Any other questions?
Governor Scott, are you planning to veto the UCF downtown campus funding?
None of that's made it to my desk yet. We'll see the budget when it gets done on Friday, and then I'll review it then.
Have you made any endorsements for the presidential race?
No, I'm going to leave it to the voters. I decided I'm not going to make any endorsements before the 15th, which is when our primary is. As you would expect, I know most of the candidates, and I'm going to leave it to the voters. I remember back in 2010 when I ran, almost everybody endorsed my opponent, and I relied on the voters of the state, and I appreciate what the decision they made.
Governor Scott, what has impressed you about WWE as a business, as a brand?
First off, the McMahons have done a wonderful job. Vince and Linda and their daughter Stephanie, Triple H, all of them are just wonderful people to talk to. But if you look at what they've done, they're a worldwide brand. They're all over the world. They have over 300 events every year all over the world, and they try to make it exciting and fun for every family member.
We'll take one more.
Governor Scott, what does $100 million mean to you?
Jobs. I mean, if you stop and think about it, when people bring events to our state, whether it was the Tribute to the Troops or the Bring Performance Center or do WrestleMania 33, it's more jobs. That's what I ran on in 2010 and 2014. I want to have all the jobs in Florida.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Governor.
Most interested in, so we'll see if this will be something he's interested in coming to.
You had the goal of 100 million visitors to the state. How do you think this maybe will now compound on maybe next year's goal? What are you looking for next year?
I'm just guiding. We did 105 million last year. The goal now is 115 million. But it's events like this that bring so many people and so much excitement to our state. And it's not just the people who are here, but people that see it on TV and say, I want to come to Orlando, I want to come to Florida.
WWE already has a kind of foundation here in Orlando. How are you going to help maybe help them build more of that and bring more jobs?
Sure. We have, at the state level, we have an entity called Visit Florida, and we work with entities like WWE that bring tourists to our state, help them market to our state, which has worked. We've gone from 82 million tourists the year before I got elected to last year we had 105 million. So this partnership of state focus and private money has really worked out.
Whose t-shirt you're going to be wearing at WrestleMania?
Oh, sure. I've gotten to know a lot of them, and it was nice to see Charlotte again. She's a wonderful young lady.
Any other questions?
Governor,
it's exciting.
Yes, Governor Scott. I don't know if you know this. Did you know Donald Trump was a WWE Hall of Famer, and does it surprise you?
I did not know that, but as you know, Donald Trump has been involved in a lot of different things in his life.
Governor, how involved were you at the state level with the bid process, and how early did that start?
The bid process for
WrestleMania.
Well, what we have is we have the Sports Foundation at the state level, and we also have Visit Florida, and so I work with them on a variety of events like this.
Okay.
We'll take one more.
How long ago did that bid process start from
I can't remember exactly the date.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Governor,
Have a good
to the
day.
left.